Hey there guys, Shaq from Shaqtech here, and Apple have just released a new set of MacBooks with the new M1 chip, and I'm on the look for a new MacBook myself. Should I buy it or should I wait? Let's talk about it. So, starting off with the M1 chip itself, the M1 chip integrates the GPU, the CPU, the RAM, and other awesome neural networky things together to give you a really awesome package with quoted performance values of over 2 times average performance compared to a relevant Intel CPU. We have 5 times GPU performance compared to the previous MacBook Pros. Also to be noted, the new MacBook Pro has doubled its battery life from 10 hours to 20 hours as well in this new release, and the MacBook Airs get an increase in battery life up to 18 hours of wireless web streaming, which is awesome to see. Now let's dive into the first thing here, the new M1 chip, the new RAM, integrated RAM. So what that actually is saying is that with the new M1 integrated RAM, it gives Apple more control of the hardware being used in the CPU, which is awesome for optimization. However, it stops us users from adding any more extra RAM out of the box. So the MacBook you order from Apple from now on is fixed to the RAM that you bought it with. So, which is also a little bit of an issue that currently on the new MacBook Pro 13 inches are limited to 16 gigabytes of RAM. So if you wanted to go to 32 gigs, at the moment you can't right now. Something else that's also a bit confusing about the new lineup is that they've decided to use the same M1 chip in both the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro 13 inch. When we look at the specs side by side, we can see that the internals are pretty much the same. You can max out 16 gigabytes of RAM on both laptops. You can max out the same amount of storage on both laptops. The screens are quite similar. They're slightly better on the MacBook Pro, but nothing major. You lose the touch bar on the MacBook Air, but you still keep Touch ID. But the MacBook Air is a lot more smaller and lighter than the MacBook Pro. And it's also significantly cheaper than the MacBook Pro as well, saving you a couple $100. So it's a bit confusing in this lineup, as in, why would you go for the MacBook Pro over the MacBook Air? What is actually stopping you from buying them? Why would you buy a MacBook Pro over a MacBook Air? So it's interesting to see, once people get hands-on and performance testing with this, if there's any bottlenecks implemented on the MacBook Air and what really differentiates the two. Is there any differentiation? Are we going to see in the future both of these start to fuse together and we get some sort of a hybrid of like a more affordable MacBook Pro? But we beg to see. Also to note is both the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro are limited to 2 USB-C ports each. The Intel generation MacBook Pros had the option to go to 4 USB-C ports, but for some reason the 13-inch new MacBook Pros are limited to 2 USB-C ports. Again, we're not sure why. Other deciding factor of if I should buy it or buy it not is the most likely release of the next generation MacBook Pros, which are supposed to be redesigned in early 2021. Now, it's highly rumored that the 14-inch MacBook Pro will be released during this release as well, and you may also get a newly iterated version of this CPU. Personally, looking at this, I would wait and let it simmer in the public for a while. It's inevitable, since this is the first generation M1 chip, that there will be some little bit of kinks, there will be some hiccups here and there, and it will be good to see how Apple deals with these. Are they going to be doing out new driver updates? Are they going to be recalling? It will be interesting to see early on how Apple deals with this new technical support that they're going to have to offer. From a consumer's viewpoint, waiting allows us to then get a much more refined product. So by the time you buy it, maybe these kinks are already rolled out. If you wait for 2021, we may have a new iteration of it. We may have some new improved specs, and you know what you're really getting into. But overall, this new M1 chip sounds really promising. If Apple really delivers on these specs, it's going to really throw a spanner in the CPU game itself. These performance levels are amazing, and if it really it also, you already can see it in the store at the moment, is that since it's all in-house, Apple have been able to keep the prices down a little bit. You'll notice that a similarly spec'd Intel MacBook Pro is significantly more expensive than the M1 version of it. It should be more significantly more powerful than the Intel powered MacBook Pros. So personally, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what it's like in the public for a little bit. See what the performance testing is actually like. Do they deliver what they have shown us in this recent event? Let me know down below. Are you gonna be buying it off the bat? Are you gonna be waiting, or are you just gonna be staying away? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, let me know if you like this new format here, the ShaqNews kind of style. If you want more of these, let me know them down below. Maybe some more topics as well. Chuck them down below. But as always, hope you guys are all taking care during these days. And as always, I'm One, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.